I've been sculpting ball-jointed dolls for quite a while, maybe 6 or 7 years. And in that time, I've accumulated a few tips that I find helpful to be better at sculpting. So in this video, I want to share that with you. As always, let me know if you have any questions or need advice in the comments below. Alright, let's move on to tip number 1. Good quality clay is the only thing I would invest my money in when starting this hobby. No sculpting tools or other gadgets are as important as quality clay. Whether you choose air dry or polymer clay, certain brands stand out for their exceptional quality. For air dry clay enthusiasts like myself, I recommend Adele Premix or Premier Clays. You can watch this video to learn more about the supplies I'm using. With air dry clay, lots of them are geared more toward kids' crafts, and with them, it will be very hard to sculpt intricate details in ball-jointed dolls. So save yourself from frustration and get the clay that will help you sculpt, not work against you. Utilizing a blueprint is key to maintaining proportions throughout the sculpting process. It's easy to get carried away without a visual guide, especially for beginners. Keep your blueprint near and continuously refer to it to ensure your doll remains true to the form. This practice not only saves time and resources, but also minimizes the need to resculpt the pieces that are too small or too big. This one hits very close to home because I constantly do that. Avoid the temptation to juggle multiple projects simultaneously. Without finishing the doll, you don't go through the whole learning process, which is very important to get better at sculpting dolls. The best opportunity to learn is to learn from your own mistakes and see where you could improve next time. Embrace mistakes as opportunities for growth, learning valuable lessons with each finished creation. So finish that doll, even if you don't like it anymore, learn from it and move on to better things. This point is closely related to the one before, but once I truly applied it, my dolls improved immensely. Carefully scrutinize each finished doll, identifying areas for improvement. Reflecting on past mistakes and successes is pivotal for enhancing your sculpting skills. Take notes after each doll and be mindful of the flaws when sculpting the next one. If you are a person who thrives on self-paced learning and needs step-by-step instructions on how to sculpt ball-jointed dolls, check out my online masterclass on this exact topic. Here you'll find videos, photos, and written instructions on how to sculpt your own ball-jointed doll from scratch. Join over 1,000 students and become part of our private community where you will be able to ask questions, share your progress photos, and get advice on difficult parts of doll making. I would love to see you there. If you're striving for anatomically correct, human-looking dolls, don't be afraid to use reference pictures. I actually like to look up pencil drawings of a human body. Somehow it works better for my brain because these images often feature exaggerated details, making them particularly useful for sculptors. I put most of my reference pictures on dedicated Pinterest boards and pull them up whenever I need to. It's very tempting to create the most elaborate ball-jointed doll from the get-go, but I would advise beginning with a more simplistic design, especially if you're just starting out in this hobby. Focus on fundamental movements and joint mechanics. Once you're done with that, you can start implementing more details. Continuing in the same theme, focus on sculpting basic shapes before delving into finer details. This really helps to achieve good results, even though it's enticing to sculpt everything at once. With each doll part, I try to figure out the basic shape and sculpt that first. Then sand it and see how it fits with other parts. If everything works, start adding the details and define the features. Sometimes these techniques can bring you the best outcomes. I've seen way better results when I stopped trying to sculpt everything and started carving miniature details, for example, when making hands. It's so much easier to control the clay when carving rather than sculpting fingers or toes. So experiment a little with the techniques you're using, and maybe you'll find something that will change your ways when making dolls. Usually, it's the gray stuff you're seeing in the work in progress pictures. Primer helps to fill in small imperfections, even out the clay texture, and makes it easier to see what you need to work on more. If you're using air dry clay, the primer also makes it a little bit stronger and water resistant, so perfect for making molds too. I made the mistake once of finishing the doll without test stringing it. Even though each joint fit perfectly, my doll didn't stand straight and had a small bend in the knees. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that because I sculpted each part separately and never tested how they all fit together. Needless to say, I had to resculpt most of the pieces. So always test string your doll as you sculpt to see where you need some improving to do. I hope this video was helpful and will push you to create. Sculpting ball jointed dolls can be quite difficult, but I promise it gets easier with each doll. Don't give up on learning and keep working towards achieving your goals. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.